Okay, this is a continuation. I get interrupted, and that's just as they say the way it goes. And gosh, that halo. I know I'm a holy man, but come on. That let's see, where's this? Let's see if I can make any kind of little adjustment to change my halo, right? It's a very slight thing right there, but anyway, it's not going to. Oh well, you're just gonna have to get used to my halo. That's all I can say. I don't know. I'm not doing something like it was before, but anyway, here we go. Leadership, teams, all this sort of thing. Um, and I was making reference into the life and times of this Jesus that people have adopted the name of Christ, Christianity, and is that a viable thing? Did Jesus teach teams, or did he teach individuality? And see, people confuse church doctrine with what the words of this Jesus were supposed to be as recorded in this book called the Bible. They get them confused, and they're not the same by any stretch. Jesus said to pray in the closet. Was a church. They want to stand there and let us pray. They want to hold their authority, and they want you to be seen in public, and they're taking prayers out of school and blah, 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 blah. Totally, totally contrary to anything that the Bible taught. Okay? No, again, I don't care if you believe in the Bible or not. That's not the argument here. Jesus didn't care if you believed in his teachings or not. He shared it. But what people today don't want to put in perspective is Jesus saw the problems that not only his religious tradition, he saw the faults with it, but also the faults of the political system that he was under. He didn't spend a lot of time bashing the political system, but he clearly did not support the political system. He did not engage in it. He was anti-war. He was anti-death penalty. These things are very clear in the Bible. If you do away with the church dogma, do away with the church dogma, and read the book, and you'll see it's very clear. I'm not even going to spend any time arguing that. The words are very clear from the story, and I'm not even suggesting the story is even real. It could all be a myth, but we're just talking about the story, okay? So keep that all in mind. Fuzzy face here. Wait a minute. Does that help? Okay. So this entire institution of Christianity was built based on something totally contrary to what the foundation of it was meant to be. Not so different than what we find today in our political system. The great changes, when you think of the civil rights movement, you think first and primarily of Martin Luther King Jr., right? But yet he didn't start a political party. That was not where he was coming from. He went out with the people. He sought to educate and to change hearts. It's kind of the story of Jesus. Jesus didn't try to engage the political system to change the political system. Martin Luther King, in his rhetoric, he was out to change the political system. Jesus was not. Jesus said, political system, not interested in it. Martin Luther King, he was interested in the political system, but he didn't use a political party, and he didn't go that means to it. He tried to change hearts. Teamwork doesn't allow for that, because teamwork has these books, these rules. See, that's what Jesus said was wrong with the tradition he was brought under, raised under, born under, the Jewish tradition. That's what he said was wrong with it, because they had this set of rules. We've got the rules about the American flag. Oh, it's raining, bring it in. You got to lower it at sunset. You got to go through these rituals, and we miss the point of the whole thing because we get caught up in these rules. And that's what Jesus was adverse to, those rules. He said, that's not working. It's ineffective. It doesn't change anything. The root of it is here, and we haven't changed anything. It's like I always said, these weddings is like, this wedding does not create a damn thing. this ritual, this piece of paper called a marriage license. None of that creates anything. It creates a contract with the state. It's just a formality we go through that's not required whatsoever. And Alabama is very valid proof of that today. We put meaning into things that have no meaning. Because if you love somebody, you don't need a piece of paper. If you love somebody, you don't need a written agreement. Those things come about because you have been taught they're important. You're making a contract with a third party, the government, when you get married. So if something happens to you, you're going to go with the government to settle the estate. That's why you get your license through probate. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Leadership, team building, coaching skills. True coaching to me would be, I want you to reach a point to where you are free of me. You take, and I have made you think. And you don't have to dress like me. You don't have to wear your hair like me. You don't have to groom yourself like me. You don't have to talk like me. You can take whatever you've learned from me and you can make it your own. And hopefully make it better than I ever could, or the person, whomever. And grow from it. Not to be stagnant. Not to be uniform. That's not it. Uniformity is not what it is. The uniformity we should be looking for in life is not the uniformity of uniforms and everybody dressing and looking alike and everybody talking alike and sounding alike and worshiping the same God and blah, 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 blah. Uniformity should be simply a heart-motivated thing to care for each other and our planet and to embrace individualism. But see, that's not what they want you to do. I just got this in the mail today. They want that team. This is like back in, what was it, 80s, 90s? Oh, I got out of focus there. Back in the 80s or 90s, it was multitasking. He wrote a book, Be a Multitasker, How to Succeed, How to Successfully Multitask. Multitasking is an abject failure. It's people, you don't get anywhere productive with multitasking. Nothing gets done. Focus on one thing at a time, get it done, then move on to the next. Sometimes you have to put a project on hold, but don't have 15 projects going on at the same time. You give your undivided attention. It's just like personal relationships. I had a counseling session with a couple, and he's still a young guy. Well, yeah, still young compared to me. And he's got his male friends, and a couple of them that came out in this session that is kind of creating a little friction. And they are unattached 20-year-olds, and they're creating some friction because some occasions, he likes to the groom here likes to go out and drink. The groom likes to go out and spend time with his buddies. Nothing wrong with that, right? Except that it's kind of going down a little bit of a bad road. The bride is feeling slighted. He goes out. She'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and he's not there. Hasn't called, won't answer his phone. Those kind of things. So we reached a point in this where it's like everything went great with this counseling session, but this one huge thing was creating a problem. And as they're sharing what's going on here, it became very clear that it's especially these two single guys who are totally non-attached that are creating the most problem. When the groom's getting off work and his buddies start texting or calling, "What are you doing tonight? Let's go out." And it seems to be the two instigators are these two that don't have a girlfriend or they're not in a relationship, and so they don't have any accountability. They don't have anybody to answer to, and it's like, and I suggested to him, I said, they're probably kind of teasing you at this point of being pussy whipped. It went on for a minute, and then I looked at him and I said, well, I think from my perspective, I'd rather be pussy whipped than dick whipped. And then I dropped it. I made kind of a joke about it, something to laugh about, but The point being is that do you truly love this person over here? Are you taking into consideration? Now you've created a team of two, you and this person you claim to fall in love with. It creates accountability. You create a situation where you either voluntarily subject yourself to the terms of this team, or you say it's not for me. I'm not suggesting that he not be involved in his team, but he's not totally involved in the team already. So he's got to make that decision. And I didn't even bring it to this point of the conversation. I said this whole counseling session is not to in any way discourage you. It's to take a good relationship and make it great. That's what this counseling session is, to take a good relationship and to make it great. How much are you willing to invest in this relationship to make it even a better relationship? And you can see the complications that can come about from that team of two based on a very, very different kind of love and attachment than you would have from some organizational team. Totally different. Because in a team of based on that love with this particular individual, it becomes a totally different team. But it still takes all this sacrifice. So you hope that you find this person that your individuality melds well with this other person's individuality, that neither one of you takes away from the other's individuality. Because once that starts happening is when you start losing who you are to support the team. It's not a healthy relationship. If you start losing who you are in support of this team, even though it's only of two, it's not a healthy relationship. It never is. Because you're going to wake up one day and you're going to realize that you have lost you. You have lost out on the things that were important to you. And in doing so, you're not going to be a happy camper, no matter how much you think you love this other individual, no matter how much you think you want to be involved in this team. So all these clubs, whether it be institutions of religion, institutions of politics, of government, or institutions of clubs, how you're putting emphasis on the team, or else the team don't exist. The team falls apart. So if all the team members, and so at some point, this is where I'm going with this. At some point, the team becomes more important than the individuals in the team, and this is where we've come as a nation. The flag is a prime example. The flag has become, in a lot of people's mind that belong to this team, more important than the people that this flag is supposed to represent. The leaders become more important than the people they are supposed to lead. The team becomes more important than the individuals that make up the team. And this is the problem when we promote this kind of stuff right here. There is, and I encourage this couple, she's not happy with her job. Knowing what her background is, know what she's doing, and talking about what their likes, dislikes, and whatnot, I came up with a suggestion. I said, you've got an out. You've got another career you can jump into. What's that? And I told her it fit right in, and it was like, wow, yeah, You've got this life between birth and death. You can spend that time being a team player, conforming, fitting in, or you can choose to have a life. And simply because you having a life does not mean that everything breaks down in society. Far from it. We've got teams. We've got teams, religious teams, institutions. We've got all these teams of society is already breaking down dramatically throughout this country. And I say that's because the individual no longer matters. We put the team ahead of the individual. We put the government ahead of the people it represents. We put the flag ahead of the government of the people that it represents. We put the religious institution ahead of the people it's supposed to serve. And therein lies a horrible, horrible future for for people in general. So there was the finish of my rant. I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon. Tuesday it is, right? Yes. So stay tuned. There'll be more to come. That's what I do. Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye.